What is up, everybody? Liam and Bert back for week 9, picking winners, the show that the establishment doesn't want you to watch because it doesn't want you to fund your life with our winners here. Bert, how you doing today?
Good. You're a little more online than I am. I know that we are 2 days past when we declared the new air date. Have you been getting any demands or people listening to the show? Or
No. Good question. Good question. I think loyal followers of the show probably knew, hey, Liam went down to Fantasy Fest in Key West. That's clearly a special place to him. It's where he won Best Ball Mania 2. Probably has a lot of events to visit. So I don't think people were stressing it. They kind of knew, wink, wink. It was going to be a Thursday this week. But you never know with us. We keep you guessing on the schedule. Some would say that's not good for your YouTube algorithm growth, but we do things differently over here. What are your thoughts on that, Bert?
Yeah, I was just happy that I didn't have any ransom notes cut out, magazine letters in my mailbox saying where's the show? You said Tuesdays, but I don't know. I guess the audience is more respectful than we thought they were because we know that they exist.
So Bert clearly has struggles with technology.
Okay.
And this is the best he could do for the image. So yeah, when I don't, hand feed Bert here and send him the image of the card, this is the best he can do. He's not able to type it up on his own. He's not able to screenshot from YouTube without. Clearly, I assume you have like a flip phone from the 80s, or maybe this was a pager.
This is unbelievable. So texted Liam, or no, we were speaking on the phone, said, hey, for tomorrow, I'm going to need the thing that you send me quite literally every week. And he goes, yeah, just remind me.
Bert, sometimes you got to push the bird out of the nest and let him fly.
And I said, go ahead and instead of having me remind you tomorrow, just text it to me as soon as you hang the phone up. That wasn't going to happen, I guess. So then the next day, I just tweet out to him saying, hey, tweet the board. Entire slates go by. The London game, the morning slate. And so I was like, okay, I'm just not getting it today. I'll just put up the records and a picture of my son trick-or-treating. Leah and I tweeted this from a bad service area, so it went out kind of late. Liam immediately texting me that I'm a bozo, that I'm a doofus, losing his mind that I did not screenshot the YouTube video, which I did do, sent him the picture of what it looked like, that it looked like crap. And I don't know.
Mean,
found out a couple minutes
this
ago,
is what I sent. This is that's week 7.
Yeah, that would be great to get.
Well, you don't always get hand fed the content.
No, and we said, it's
I was down in Key West, whatever. I was on a boat. I didn't have my computer that handy.
Wow, this is some prime backpedaling.
Anyways, reviewing the picks here, which I think I can get you guys a better pick here. Bit of a battle back for me. Some would say I was against the ropes. Sure, still didn't have a winning week, but battled back, respectable showing. Still, if this was a UFC contract where you're fighting for whether you get to stay in the thing, I think I showed enough to stay on for another week. Here we go. Here was week 8. So Bert, I made this in Excel, by the way, if you ever need to craft this on your own.
Okay.
Typed our names here. Type the week, and
I think we just keep
you can see
whatever
this on
system
all
we had
the
in
YouTube
place
with
was
the
fine. I'm happy to
of the internet. All right, so piecing these two together, Baltimore, we both got. I mean,
Liam called me Friday morning to let me know that he was 1-0, And I said, I think we're both 1-0. And he said he did not believe me, had to go back and look at the page. So,
Or
yeah, he's,
Tampa.
when you take enough losses, it does start to mentally get to you. But
Hey, before we let's run through these NFL trades real quick. Before we go forward.
Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, let's talk about the big ones. I mean, that's obviously a big one for next year.
I thought that was the most interesting
So the
one,
Bills,
just because he is, they're deciding to move on from him. Probably, I mean, I don't know. His stock's pretty high, I guess.
Yeah, let's run through the big ones. So I think the big ones were Chase Claypool to the Bears.
Yep,
I
that was
mean,
awesome for them.
I think that one's bigger than people realize because the Bears need to evaluate Fields. Is he a quarterback worth sticking with? And not having NFL talent wide receivers makes that hard. So I think Claypool and Mooney can actually be a decent wide receiver pairing for
Claypool and N'Keal Harry.
No. Darnell Mooney and Claypool, they're both deep threats. That's what Fields is good at. So I think that's kind of a big one. Obviously, the Dolphins got better. I still don't think they're on the Bills level.
Yeah, I mean, is anybody saying that?
Well, no, but they're clearly making these moves to try to be Super Bowl worthy, and hey, Tyreek can do it in any game. The biggest one, probably Kadarius Toney to the Chiefs. To me, I don't think people realize how good Kadarius Toney is. He is people want to say a wide receiver like George Pickens is good, and sure, but George Pickens is a big guy, whereas Kadarius Toney. If you remember back to that one game that he played, really
Well, that's
in the
what I was
NFL,
going to say. It's either going to be one of those things that we look back on and, holy crap, this guy was.
I mean, this guy's literally Tyreek abilities, where
sitting there kind of waiting to get unlocked.
And that type of wide receiver is just so much more valuable.
Or it's going to be why did we react to this trade so positively when he's got one really good game under his belt?
But the one bad thing is Brian Daboll's a good coach and a smart coach. So and so is their GM. So them getting rid of Toney isn't the best look. But hey, if it was just disagreements and egos, and Kadarius Toney can be 85% of what he could be, that's a huge trade to me. The Bills get Naheem Hines. That's a sneaky one. I think Hines is going to be useful. They also got a safety. TJ Hawkinson goes to the Vikings. That's a whatever. I think this is the Vikings saying the NFC is wide open. This is our only chance of getting a playmaker. I think it's smart on the Lions' part too, because I don't think Hawkinson is a playmaker or a game changer, and allows them to get younger and get more picks for the future and maybe get the ammo to get a quarterback.
Well, Hawkinson is still he's probably a top 8 tight end. I guess it doesn't really matter that much.
But maybe he's top 6, but there's 2 tight ends that make a difference in the league. Obviously, there's a little bit more than that, but really, it's Kelsey and Andrews. Everybody else,
George Kittle when he's healthy, but he just can't stay on the field.
Yeah, and they he's just such a good blocker. So obviously he's a game changer, but we don't really assess that. I think Hawkinson's fine, and I think the Vikings are fine, but he's not it's whatever. Christian McCaffrey to the Niners. That's a super fun one. We talked about that the week before it happened.
Yeah, no, that's going to be awesome.
That's the dream pairing for everyone.
Yeah, and especially with them, hopefully they can just for them, they can just get clicking here. They're kind of on it every other week, it seems like. But with Debo's been having some injury issues, so yeah.
There were some other trades. Let's roll through this. So Chubb, that's whatever. Oh, Jeff Wilson goes to the Dolphins. That's kind of interesting.
Well, it's interesting because McDaniel coached him in that system.
And they got rid of Chase Edmonds.
I don't think I'd be as excited for this trade as a Miami fan if Mike McDaniel wasn't my head coach. But I think
and Jeff Wilson is just real good insurance on Mostert, and Mostert's playing a lot for them, and he's old. He's playing way too much. So Calvin Ridley, that's a really fun one, man. getting a guy like this on the cheap, if he is allowed to play next year, like that's huge for the Jaguars. Because now you allow Kirk to play the slot and allows you to really evaluate Trevor. Like,
well, yeah, I mean, Trevor Lawrence doesn't really have a weapon.
Christian Kirk is good.
Yeah,
ETN
but he's not a
is,
number one.
yeah.
Calvin Ridley, you can say, is at least closer to a number one.
The Steelers adding people, like that's like what's going on here? Why are you guys trading for people? You're the fucking Steelers.
Well, Chase Claypool is just so unlikable too, but
no, I think this trade makes sense. Like the Bears.
Well, Fields is starting to seem like he might be the real deal. I mean,
yeah, I mean he's playing good, man. So that's what I'm saying. Like,
so it's now like they've got to get a respectable wide receiver core.
Well, and the thing is, like next year's,
or else you risk wasting an evaluation on him, because that's really what they need to do.
Exactly.
And if you don't, I mean, that's the teams that don't put people around their young star, what they think is going to be their franchise quarterback. I've never understood it, because then they get to that 50-year option time and they don't even have like a legit evaluation on them.
Yeah, I mean, look, the Tony trade as a Bills fan, I'm not loving that Tony is on the Chiefs, because I real like Juju's whatever. He's clearly not elite anymore. MBS is not a game changer. They're not giving Sky Moore that much time, the rookie, but I think he can be fine. Tony, I truly believe, is just like legit a game changer. And like, you can't dream of a better spot where he's not facing a lot of competition. Like, it might take a couple weeks, but.
And I mean, Andy Reid is just wide receiver whisperer. Like,
yeah,
very good at getting them in space. And
this one's kind of whatever. Robbie Anderson, a little change of scenery.
Well, we knew, wasn't that 2 weeks ago? Because he walked off the field.
Yeah, I don't know if we even talked about
it. Wasn't he rostered with Arizona over this slate of games? I think he was.
Yeah, he was. I mean, he makes sense as like Hollywood Brown insurance. The Falcons are smart, just trading away pieces. So yeah, I mean, a bunch of.
I don't know. Is that smart? The Falcons are leading their division.
Well, and I tweeted this out. I said, I tweeted out the Bucs schedule. I tweeted out the Falcons schedule. I said, who do you think's going to win the division? And everyone chose the Bucs. But this week, the Falcons won, which, I mean, the Panthers clearly chose to lose that game. In overtime, they clearly instructed their kicker, miss.
No, I don't think that's what happened, because they missed an extra point that would have won the game.
Don't want to win. Like, they want to show they can.
Yeah,
win,
I don't think they did on purpose, though. I mean,
if the Panthers win that game, they're like pick 15. If they lose that game, they're
I get that,
2.
But like the whole concept of them blowing that game in overtime doesn't make any sense, because then they wouldn't have been throwing deep at the end of the fourth quarter to go.
Well, you want to show you can. Like, you can't stop playmakers play. You can tell a kicker, will cut you. You can't get away with that.
I get that, but like the concept of them throwing a game while also tying it in the last seconds, that doesn't vibe.
Well, because you can't tell the quarterback and the wide receiver. You know, there's layers to who you can.
Oh, geez.
Shave with or whatever. That's my take. Anyways, those are the trades. The week.
Because you know how did you see how that game ended?
Bert's been on a heater, man. Take off tinfoil hats. I don't think it's rigged. I just think that was gamemanship.
Well, did you see how it ended, though? They threw.
Yeah, I watched it.
To DJ Moore, I think. And
let's run through these games.
He pulled his helmet off. And he turned what would have been like their 35-yard attempt or 25-yard attempt, whatever it is, into like a 48-yard attempt.
Yeah, no, I think, hey man, I'm just saying, pretty convenient to lose that game for them. And I mean, this is supposed to be a really good quarterback class. Like, you have to be foolish to be like, there's no chance. So Broncos Nation. I mean,
I'm not saying it's impossible that they are throwing games.
No, I think the way you throw games is very nuanced in the NFL. You can't just like tell a whole locker room. but you can probably get in the ear of like a very expendable, replaceable guy, a kicker. Anyways, Broncos win and then trade away pieces. That's a yikes.
Yeah,
Ravens.
that's got to. I wonder how Russell Wilson woke up feeling about God that morning.
How do you feel about these UK games? I've not been jiving with them this
I think
year.
it's criminal that they don't have UK announcers on them. Like that to me would be like they need to have I don't know. And the less they know about the NFL, the better. Like they need to be up there just
no,
like
it would like get us some soccer announcers for sure.
I mean, if they got a Nickelodeon broadcast, get us a
Did you
freaking British
Did you see
broadcast.
the like ESPN Deportes announcement of the LaVisca Chenault touchdown?
No.
You gotta look that up sometime.
ESPN Deportes is good for like one awesome.
It was
moment.
a really good call.
Yeah.
No, that's bad news for my best ball teams.
Is that true?
I would assume D Wise is telling us nothing but the truth. Who would feed us fake?
Well, he's a Jets fan. I think he told me that the Jets were going to crush the line this week, but
all right, so Bills dominate, Browns dominate. That was kind of a shocker. 49ers.
Yeah, that was surprising. That was surprising.
Yeah, well, it kind of wasn't what like.
But the Bengals didn't come out and they didn't wear the whites, right?
Well, they didn't. When we made our pick, though, I don't think Jamar Chase was ruled out for the week. He's out for.
I made it purely off the fact they were wearing those white jerseys.
He's out for like 4 weeks. The Niners, I'm pretty sure we said that was like the lock of the week last week for us. So good.
No,
for
we
us.
both. Yeah, I think we both said the Niners. I said Tennessee, but we both said Vegas, which was the most wrong.
Oh, Vegas. Yeah. I mean, look, it was an obvious trap. It's like, why is this only -2? Man, stick a fork in the Raiders. They're done. The Patriots versus Jets, 2 even matched. I mean, how did you watch this game? How did it feel? Did it feel like it was 2 even match squads? Like, did the Jets score late or something to close the gap?
They were knocking rust off, it seemed like, through the first half. And then really the Jets kind of got a little bit of a raw deal. Well, I don't it was a roughing the passer penalty, but it's also like to have a pick six like taken off the board, like that's a freaking heartbreaker.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. We got conflicting sources. I'm pretty plugged in, so one of my sources.
He's
just on the IR, Michael Thomas.
How much longer do you hold on to Michael Thomas? I mean, 3 years ago, I think he was the best wide receiver.
He was good in the 2 games he played this year. He scored like 2 touchdowns. Titans win an ugly one with Malik Willis. Like, I was excited for Malik Willis, and he is not ready. Eagles dominate.
What, didn't they like throw the ball 6 times or something?
Yeah, like that's the thing. It's like, so the Texans are clearly the worst team in the NFL. Commanders beat the Colts. That's whatever. Vikings dominate, make the trade for TJ.
I had the Commanders, just saying. But
do we think the Falcons are going to win this division, man? Their schedule's so much easier than the Bucs.
You know that if Carolina had won that game, that they would be leading the division too?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That's why I said it made like a 15-team change in the NFL draft.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, it's in that division is something. I mean, we'll see.
The Dolphins felt firmly in control, but like only win by 4 points at the end. I don't know, man. So let's talk about some teams and tell me if their playoff aspirations are dead or alive.
Or do you just want to play contender pretender?
Sure. Packers. Can they make the playoffs even?
They can make the playoffs, but they are a pretender.
Are they going to make the playoffs?
Well, if they start making playoff push, then they will enter contender. But right now they are pretenders.
Let's see. Here's the NFC standings. They're 3-5. How about the Bucks?
God, that's another tough one. Pretender. I mean, they look so bad, man.
So what do you got to be to make the playoffs right now? It is
go to ESPN.com. They have the playoff today. Yeah, that one, and then pick playoff, and that gives you all their breakdowns and how they're winning tiebreakers as well.
Okay. Jeez, the Commanders, man, feisty Commanders. They're
I
still in
know.
it.
Well, they're 4-4.
Yeah. Okay. So, but 4-4 is in.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. 500.
So,
500 is usually in. Like, usually you can sneak it, especially
yeah,
with
but
the
like, I
17
mean,
format.
I don't really see the Seahawks falling apart, honestly. Like, they're playing good football. Like, I think their schedule's
they're 2 games over 500. They're 1 game away from being the Commanders.
No, but you got to pick teams that can really fall apart, and I guess the Giants could go on a losing streak, but they're like, I saw some thing. It was like the luckiest teams.
The Giants are making the playoffs.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That they could maybe not. I don't know.
They could go 3-5 for the rest of the year, and they will make the playoffs.
Yes, but they could also be caught. If I can find this, I don't think I can. Anyways, whatever. It was on some analytic thing. But yeah, like if these 6-2 teams we're saying are automatically in right now, that really only gives like the division leader of the Falcons division and then this Niners spot.
Well, so Philadelphia, Dallas,
in
San Francisco. Those to me are the only 3 true contenders in the NFC.
I think the Vikings are.
No, I think the Vikings are one of those teams that their record says that they're really good, but
okay. How about are the Cardinals making the playoffs?
No.
Are the Saints winning that division? I think the Saints have the best team.
The Saints could make it.
I mean, but their schedule is really hard. Like that's why the Falcons' schedule is much easier.
Yeah.
So who makes the playoffs and who doesn't out of these teams?
All right, so division winners. Well, I mean, Dallas. I wouldn't be surprised if Dallas wins their division whatsoever. I mean, they have to beat Philly. If they split with Philly, that's 1 loss.
The Eagles got better on the trade deadline too.
Yeah,
traded for Robert Quinn.
So Philly, I will pick to win that division still.
Just here's the top 7 teams are making the playoffs right now. So who out of these teams are not in at the end of it?
I think
Falcons,
Seattle and Atlanta probably have the best chance of getting knocked out.
Do you think they do?
Yeah.
And if
San Francisco wins that division.
Okay.
And then I think, there's so many chances for LA, Tampa, Green Bay to get right.
Yeah, it doesn't seem that insurmountable. Let's see the AFC standings real quick. I think the AFC is a little bit more cut and dry. Playoff. Okay.
God, LA is in right now.
And they're a team that like you don't really want to face just because Justin Herbert could get healthy. All right, so I get the Titans are probably going to be in. I think the
Titans are going to be in with a home playoff game. They're winning their division.
Yeah, I don't think the Jets are going to be in. Probably.
I think the Jets fall off.
The Jets fall off for either the Patriots, the Bengals,
they've peaked.
The Browns. I think the Dolphins are in.
Yeah, if I had to pick this one, I would say Buffalo, Tennessee, Kansas City, probably Cincinnati as the division winners. And then Miami probably as your top underdog or your top wild card seed.
Cincinnati had lost the tiebreak to the Ravens, though, I think.
But they'll have a chance to win again. So
yeah,
they'll split with them. And then probably Miami, Baltimore, New England, I think, as your wild card teams.
Yeah, pretty wide open here. Like the Bills
I think New York and LA both fall off here.
I think it's a funner league when you got like a bunch of teams still in it. Because like all
Oh
these
yeah,
3 and
no, the
5
extra
teams,
playoff team, and what's also
like the
awesome about
fucking Bears could make the playoffs.
what's awesome, the other thing that is awesome about the extra playoff team is that it limits to 1 bye, which makes the top of the league so much more competitive. Because so many times, like in that Patriots run, they would lock up the bye in like week 14, and then they were kind of just like fucking around.
Yeah, I don't see the Bills losing. I mean, they're about to get Trey White back too, which is pretty big with their safeties being banged up. And
I mean,
Eagles,
are
Bills.
the Bills should be favored in every single game for the rest of the year.
Have you seen this Eagles schedule though? Look at this. Like
No,
I don't.
I'm just saying, like they were
No,
the
they will be, but so will the Eagles. Look at this Eagles schedule. Look at the quarterbacks they play the rest of the way. Davis Mills tonight, Taylor Heineke, Sam Ellinger, Aaron Rodgers, Ryan Tannehill, Daniel Jones, Justin Fields, Dak, question mark, and then Daniel Jones again. Like this Cowboys team is the only team that's
question mark
maybe good that they face the rest of the way. And I mean, the Eagles are just a really complete team. I think a Bills-Eagles Super Bowl would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it
Two
does
very complete
seem like
teams.
it's the most top heavy that it has been in a long time. But then again, I didn't think the Eagles were going to be the 1 seed almost halfway into the season at this point.
Well, there's only like 3 quarterbacks, 3 or maybe 4 quarterbacks that like really strike fear into you. Josh Allen, Hurts, Patrick Mahomes.
I mean, Cleveland could also right the ship, and then it's week 11, and Deshaun's back. And
Well, yeah, I mean, true.
that's a big wild card too. They could end up getting
Super
in.
wild card. Like if they can stick around, they'll make it for sure if he's allowed to play. And I still am a believer in Herbert. I just think that
I love Justin Herbert.
I think his ribs are fucked up. Like them getting the bye is pretty big for them.
He could be the healthiest of his life. He will not win with that coach.
No, come on. Like, relax. Like, Keenan Allen's been out the whole year. His offense has been like Mike Williams, who's out now. Like, everyone is hurt for the Chargers, is what's tough. All right, let's do the AFC.
They drop games or come close to dropping games inexplicably.
Okay, but they're without this team.
That doesn't change the fact that you are going for it on your own 40-yard line up 2.
Well, they lost Nick
doesn't
Bosa,
change the fact that
lost.
You have
Jason
tight ends
Jackson
saying that they are too gassed to stay in for a play.
Yeah, the coach isn't the best, but the coach isn't the best everywhere. Most teams, you know.
But
last question.
It's in spite of him. Like he's bad, man.
Yeah, but the team is really good. That's what I'm saying. All right, last question before we move on to this week. Rank the AFC East teams based on how they will finish at the end of the year.
Buffalo.
Yes.
Miami.
Yes.
New England. All 3 of those teams are making the playoffs. New York Jets.
Wow. So the Jets. I mean, it's tough. Let's look at one thing real quick. The Jets schedule. And
I mean, dude, they're in the. I looked at it. They're in the point where they start going into free fall. So they have the Bills next week. Then they have the Patriots like right again.
Yeah, so this is a big game. If the Jets win that game, that opens a lot.
So I mean, look at this. So that's all in the next 3 weeks. Yeah, we'll be seeing.
Then they get Justin Fields.
What do you like? We'll be seeing you in Foxborough. Are you confident on that? What is it? The last time they won is like 20.
So they pretty much need to win these 3 right here. They need to beat the Patriots, the Bears, and surprise at the Vikings. And then they have a manageable last 4.
This is what I'm saying. Yeah.
Lions,
so Bills,
Jags.
No, so you have the Bills, the Patriots, and the Patriots are at the point in their schedule where they have to get fat to be able to make the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, have to beat Ellinger, have to beat the Jets again.
No, and there's a good chance I think there's a good chance we go 3-0 into Bills week.
Yeah, the only good teams you play left are the Bills twice, the Dolphins
at home.
but seems like you match up well with them.
And the Bengals. So
the Bengals.
The last three games of the season are tough, but Colts, Jets, Vikings, those are all winnable games.
D-Wise is coming at you. Not afraid, he says.
Get right game.
Let's look at the Dolphins too.
This is a get right year for the Jets. They're just getting things turned around. They're happy to be an 8 seed.
Okay, easy game. Should be winnable. Easy game. Yeah, tough. If Justin Herbert's healthy, tough.
No.
Easy. Toss up.
Well, we don't know. I don't know. I mean, week 15 against the Packers might not be easy if they're fighting for their life and they have it like kind of figured out.
Yeah, I mean, we don't. I think if there's anything, it's that we've learned so far this year. It's that there's a bunch of teams really close in the league, and
well, it's just impossible.
There's like a couple teams that are not, and everyone else is like the same.
I mean, when you look at the Bucks Brady Super Bowl, I think that through week 12 or week 13 they were 7-5, and then they didn't lose a game for the rest of the year. So it's one of those things that I don't know.
You can go on a run, but I mean, it's just there's some tough schedules. Like anytime you're playing the Eagles or the Bills, that's tough, and some teams play both. All right, let's move on to this week. Enough of our trade talk and team talk. Heating up though, week 9, already over halfway the regular season. We got a barn burner tonight. Eagles -14 against the Texans. A huge line. And what's kind of interesting is the Bills against a 5-3 Jets team is -11.5. So the Eagles against the worst team. And this just shows you that the Eagles, they don't front run like the Bills do.
I mean, how often do you see lines bigger than -4? Like 14 is kind of where they max.
No, but I think the Bills would maybe be -17, -18.
Maybe. I mean,
because the Bills are. It just shows you that like the Eagles will start running the ball basically if they're up to win the game, and the Bills sometimes don't do that. They'll just be like, "Fuck it, let's practice." All right,
the Eagles definitely care more about winning than the Bills. Is what you're saying.
Well, the Bills are trying. I mean, there's nuanced strategy there. Like the Eagles want to guarantee the win, yes, but the Bills want to practice their offense when they have new pieces for the long run in a winnable game. All right, though, jump into this game. Eagles -14 at the Texans. Another this whole year is being decided by how can you pick games with huge spreads, which typically I am not someone that's like. Yes,
well, I mean, I think it's what we were saying earlier. It's the top heaviest it's been. I don't. It seems like, and that's the first year doing the show. So, but we do talk NFL every year. It does seem the most top.
This is the first time anyone's ever done a show like this. I think.
Little gambling, little childhood chemistry. Nobody's ever tried this.
Why would I bet with you +13 when the line is -11.5? D-Wise.
It's up for you.
Anyways, Bert, how do you see this one?
I love Philly here.
You love them by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like they're due for a romp. I mean, they kind of let Arizona hang around. Houston is in complete free fall. They kind of had a couple surprises at the beginning of the year, but now they've just settled in as probably that number 32 team in the NFL. So I think Philly goes up early here, and it's a national game for them. They're putting the league on notice if they haven't already.
And they don't have as many primetime games as some of the other teams.
Yeah. And I mean, I know that that matters to players. People will say that it doesn't, but it does. It's
a little chip on your shoulder when it's
every sport that when you get to show out for a national broadcast that you want to come out and go hard the entire way. So
no, definitely it puts a little chip on your shoulder when it's I mean, the league just didn't see the Eagles coming. They didn't see that they'd be this good. I thought they would be, but I mean, not even this good. But
I don't think anybody thought they would look like this.
Well, I knew they had a great defense. I knew they.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, like,
it was all about the shoulders of Jalen Hurts, and we just seen that like time and time again. These alpha.
Oh, and
wide
also
receivers.
just like putting AJ Brown into
That's
a
what I'm
new
saying.
offense.
These alpha wide receivers.
Like, you don't know how that's going to look. I think that it's very impressive.
If you followed the news in the offseason, they're getting lunch together. Like, those two dudes are in love. Anyways, I like the Eagles to route them too. I mean, this Texans team is kind of hard to understate how bad it is. Like, Brandon Cooks, who they couldn't even trade at the trade deadline, and neither party
He's
wants.
not playing tonight, right? Yeah.
That's exactly it. Like, Brandon Cooks doesn't want anything to do with the Texans. The Texans don't want anything to do with him. They couldn't offload him because of his salary. He's just
what is up with that guy too? He's
just kind of like not waving the Texans right now. So the Texans are throwing to like Chris Moore. He's throwing to Philip Dorsett, who like I thought he retired. They have this like 3-headed tight end rotation between Jordan Akins, OJ Howard. That would honestly be their best course of action. Dameon Pierce is the only bright spot on that team. And it just seems like a game where Davis Mills could easily throw 2 picks. Like this Eagles defense is legit. The only thing is they're without Jordan Davis this game, who the big rookie.
Who cares?
But yeah.
Yeah, doesn't Brandon Cooks have some record for like a Pro Bowler with 8 years in the league? This might have been a couple of years ago. Most teams. He's just a guy that has been on a ton of teams.
Yeah, no, he's been like good on a bunch of teams. He would have been fun to be traded, but whatever. Like the Texans are clearly going to get a new quarterback. All right, moving on. Bills at Jets.
Who do you think they take a QB in the draft? Sorry.
I don't know anything about the college QBs at this point in the season. I could start tuning into that much later. So I don't know.
Okay.
Bills at Jets. I'll take the Bills minus 11.5 pretty easily. This is the same thing where it's like I literally don't see how the Jets move the ball against the Bills defense unless they're just. I mean, it was wild to see the Packers. The Packers chose to lose that game by as small as possible, rather than win. Where they covered. They were like down late in the game.
They covered,
and they kept on running the ball. So it was like kind of crazy to see them choose to just like lose by as little as they could.
Aaron Rodgers probably doing like Pat McAfee. He's probably got some weird. I'll make sure I cover for you, Pat, or something.
No, I think he probably looked at it. He's like, "There's no chance in hell we win, no matter what." Like, and so let's just lose by as little as we can and rest up for next week. And we have a game against Detroit. But yeah, so the one question for the Jets is I'm curious who Sauce Gardner guards for the Bills, because what the Packers did is he's
a bad man, Sauce Gardner.
Yeah, Sauce Gardner is really good. And what the Packers did is they put Alexander on Gabriel Davis one-on-one, which allowed them to double coverage Diggs, which is what teams do sometimes. So are the Jets going to put Sauce Gardner on Gabriel Davis and double cover Diggs, or are they going to put Sauce Gardner on Diggs? Because I think Diggs is the type of guy who could still kind of probably, like, he wins with route running, so I think he could probably still dice up Gardner, but maybe the Bills don't bother to test him. Maybe Sauce Gardner's that good. He's very long-armed.
Yeah, I mean, he's like that. The long, lanky corners are those guys.
Yeah, but like sometimes those guys don't match up well with I'm curious what he did against the Dolphins. I know Tyreek didn't have a huge game, but I'm curious if he covered Tyreek or if he covered Waddle and then they doubled Tyreek.
He's got some. I mean, it's something where he has. I don't know.
Your mic just went kind of crazy.
Can you hear me?
Yes. It's all Gardner. Cover Tyreek. All right. Whatever. I'll look it up later. All right. How do you see this one, Bert?
Yeah, I mean, going with top heaviness in the league, I like Philly and I like Buffalo here. I think these are two teams that are trending upwards or already juggernauts versus two teams that are either in free fall or are starting to begin their collapse. So Buffalo here as well.
All right. Moving on to maybe a
Damn, D.
more
Weiss already
surprising line.
calling for Zach Wilson's head.
Where do you see that?
Zach Wilson
Zach
sucks.
Wilson sucks. All right, Dolphins at Bears. Dolphins only 4-point favorites on the road. How do you see it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Chicago had that. I think that game against New England was kind of an anomaly, and New England really came in with.
Justin Fields moved the ball against that Cowboys defense last week.
A really terrible plan, and I don't even know if they knew what they were doing at the end of that game. But
D-Wise, I too am unhinged, so I appreciate you tuning in, brother.
So I think Chicago versus good team, like they're gonna be competing for a playoff spot towards the end of the year, but Miami is undefeated with Tua starting and finishing games. And I've liked Miami a lot this year. I like Miami here over Chicago. -4.
Yeah, this is a weird one where it's Justin Fields is playing so much better, and now they have Chase Claypool, who if all they had him do is run go routes, that's probably fine this week. And if he's able to like get first downs on the ground, and
he's just such a tool, man. I hate that.
Use the running game, then they could probably keep this close. But on the other hand, like I don't understand how the Dolphins let it get so close against Detroit. Tyreek and Waddle are just an electric duo. They're a smart team. Maybe they get the run game back here. I don't know. I guess I'll take Miami -4. It doesn't seem like enough points, but feels kind of trappy like that Raiders line last week. Vikings at Commanders. Vikings only 3-point favorites at the Commander Stadium, who finally are going to force Snyder to trade the team. It's only 3-point favorites for the Vikings. Seems pretty small. On the other hand, the Commanders have moved the ball kind of well with Heineke. I expect Terry McLaurin to have an okay game. But, whatever. I'll roll with one of the top teams in the NFC -3.
Maybe too much negative energy around Washington this week. Like it's just going to be no. I'm serious though. It's one of those things like where, when you have like this significant amount of coverage, because every player is getting asked about it. They're all getting told on how to answer it. It's something that they're not focused on, and this just seems like one of those games that's just going to continue. Washington is not going to be a team that remains kind of middling this year, because the NFL is going to, or maybe not the NFL, but when you see owners that are being forced to sell the team, you usually don't see the team like all of a sudden go on a run. So it's, I think it's Minnesota here. That's pretty easy.
Yeah. Panthers +7.5 at the Bengals. Talk us through it.
So Carolina, probably the biggest surprise of the season since Matt Rule was fired. +7.5 just seems huge. So I like them here at +7.5. Cincinnati coming off a tough week. I think they'll probably win, but Carolina to cover +7.5.
Yeah, I'm doing the same thing. I'm going to take Carolina as well, because basically their game plan is going to be like run the ball, play action to DJ Moore.
I can't believe you're going to take a team that you said at the beginning of the show is throwing games.
Well, I don't think they want to win, but that doesn't impact covering. And after losing to the Falcons is more important for playoff standings than losing to the Bengals, because it's an NFC team, it's a division team, and it would have mattered for division tiebreaks. But the Bengals
it doesn't matter for the draft, though. Wins all count the same in the draft.
It matters for standings if there's like a tie.
Well, for the playoffs, it would. But
For
yeah, I
draft
guess
pick
if you're
too.
worried if
Yeah.
they accidentally win the division, you could maybe argue that. But
Yeah. Basically tie it could be like tied record at like 7-10, and then it's whoever like the
I think
whoever
if
has it.
Carolina was told, "Hey, you could luck into winning the division," that they probably would take that.
Well, then I don't know. Maybe make a 25-yard field goal.
No, it was a 48-yard field goal because of a penalty,
Yeah. Anyways,
or maybe in overtime it was shorter. But
the big thing here is the Bengals are going to be without Jamar Chase, and they still threw the ball a lot. But I don't know, man. Like maybe they right the ship after getting embarrassed, but not really a team you can trust. I mean, maybe they do trust the Panthers. I don't know. Not a game I have a great lean in, but I'm taking the Bengals. This one, Lions at Packers. Give me the Lions. They just got rid of TJ Hawkinson, a locker room cancer to the team. He's been holding them back. It's a Monra. It's a little bit of Swift. It's a Jared Goff show. The battle of quarterbacks this year. Packers just did the cowardly thing and ran the ball to not lose by 40 against the Bills.
Jesus
and
Christ.
The team's going to turn against them for that. And Jared Goff is going to, they think, oh, easy win against the Lions. We can be right on playoff footing. And the Lions say, our playoff chances are not dead. We beat the Packers here. We're still in it in a wide open NFC. So give me the Lions plus 3.5.
I mean, if the Packers lose this game to the 1-7 Lions or 2-6 or something like that, I don't know. Bad Lions team. If they lose this game, then Aaron Rodgers might really be done. I mean, this is a spot for them that
the Lions are 1-6.
Yeah, even in their worst years, they come through in this spot. So give me Green Bay minus 3.5.
All right. Our first game that we are on different pages on. We're done, man. That was cowardly last week. Moving on to the Chargers.
I feel like personally slighted.
Chargers at the Falcons. Covered. Falcons, 3-point dogs at home. Talk us through it, Bert.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on record as saying I will not take the Chargers probably for the rest of the year unless the line is just so absurd. And I like what Atlanta is doing. So give me Atlanta plus 3, probably to win the game as well. Probably take them outright.
I actually usually do like to take the Chargers. That clearly hasn't been working. I'm taking the Falcons because what the Falcons want to do is run the ball. What the Chargers cannot stop is the run. So one of two things happened here. Either Justin Herbert got healthy over the bye and they're going to destroy the Falcons, or he's still not healthy, still kind of nursing through that injury. He's not able to be purely him, and his team can't stop the run, and the Falcons just establish it at home. And honestly, like the Falcons, they should look at the Bucs having to play the Rams. Like if the Bucs lose again and the Falcons can win, they have a huge lead for the division, which is crazy. So
isn't it one game?
If they win this week and the Bucs lose, then there would be 2 games.
So what? The Falcons are 4-4 and the Bucs are 3-5. Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, it would be 2 games, but the Falcons would lose the tiebreak unless they beat the Bucs later in the year.
Yeah.
2 games. Anyways, so give me Atlanta. But yeah, it's, I mean, not one that seems coin flippy, so I would stay away if I was picking my own cards. Colts at Patriots. Patriots 5.5-point favorites. Just traded away the heart and soul of their team, Nyheim Hines, to the Bills, who I think actually will play quite a bit by pretty soon, like up to like 40% of snaps or something. Maybe. How do you see it though, Bert?
Well, you're burying the lead on the Nyheim Hines thing. That's their number. Or I guess I saw Jonathan Taylor might be out this week. Is that right?
Probably going to be out. They traded for Zach Moss from the Bills. So they got back a worse running back who
Yeah.
kind of like fits what they want to do more.
Either
But
way, the
Deion
running back
Jackson
thing
is
is
going to be
not
their running back.
the running back thing is not what to look at. It's their QB situation. Their offensive coordinator just got fired.
Yep.
I can't
Sam
believe this
Ellinger.
line is 5.5. I guess 5.5 is pretty big, I guess, but New England's at the point in their schedule. Have said this a bunch of times, but really starting with that Detroit game. So Detroit, Cleveland, and then they dropped one to the Bears. I felt like they could lose one and still make the playoffs, but they're in must win for this next 3 games of their schedule. They will. I think they're going to come out here and handle this team pretty handedly. So yeah, New England minus 5.5. I think is pretty easy here.
I'll take the Colts side. This New England team.
That's crazy, dude.
This New England team, like, okay.
What's the name of the Colts quarterback? Do you know?
Sam Ellinger,
Oh,
brother.
okay.
Of course I know. What the hell do you mean,
Brother?
This Patriots team is just not impressive on offense at all. Like, their plan is to dump it off to Ramondre. Maybe Tyquan Thornton gets it going here, but I just don't really see them like pulling away. They're a team that doesn't score touchdowns in the red zone. They have to settle for field goals a lot of time. So they just have to be really efficient in a game, or another team to be like disastrous, which I think with Frank Reich, the Colts will be fine on offense. Maybe whatever. They just had to throw the guy under the bus, the OC.
Frank Reich is dead man walking territory. I mean,
maybe. I mean, clearly they've admitted that what they the credit to the Colts organization here is they're not trying to do what the Falcons are doing, which is fuck it, let's try to win games. The Colts are kind of being like, this isn't working. Let's blow it up in a good draft year. And so like maybe Irsay's doing that, like commanding them to play Ellinger, but I don't know. Like, he should be able to move the ball. He was fine-ish last week.
did you see the Irsay tweet?
Like the only no, let's get to that. The only way I feel like the Colts don't cover by 5.5 is if it totally could be a disaster, just like a bunch of picks, a bunch of turnovers. But I don't know. I'm going with the Colts. I don't know what this means, Preston, but hit the like button, brother. What was the Irsay tweet?
So they fired what's the name of the OC? It's like Miles Brady, I think.
I don't know. It's something like that, yeah.
But so they fired the OC, and Jim Irsay tweeted out the day of. He goes, I forget exactly what it was, but we can pull it up. Miles Brady and the Colts have decided to part ways. We appreciate Miles, and then thumbs up emoji. Fired and then thumbs up emoji to the guy you fired.
Jeez. All right. Raiders at Jaguars. Raiders only 1.5 point favorites on the road. I mean, this Raiders team, dude, I guess it should not be a surprise that McDaniel is not a good coach. Like, totally disappointing with the talent he has around him. I don't understand the Saints blowout last week.
Well, it's one of the two. It's either McDaniel or Carr. So they're moving on from one of the two next year, I think. It's probably
they'll probably move on from Carr anyways, but still.
That's what I'm saying. They're probably going to give him a chance to have the.
But like McDaniel is a clown, probably is like probably.
Yeah, I mean, you like the head coaching stuff. There's something with. Who
could have seen that the Tim Tebow quarterback guy was not the savior of the
league? And there's also somebody tweeted out the other day that after his 6-0 start with Denver, his overall record as a head coach is like 5-20 or something like that. And
I mean, like
when they were 6-0, that players all said the only reason they were 6-0 was because they were legitimately filming practices, and then they said there was like a marked difference from the quality of the team's play when the NFL dropped the hammer on them for that.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna take the Jaguars, man. Let's go Duval. The Jaguars are kind of a fun team. They are doing the right things, at least, where they're like feeding ETN. They got rid of James Robinson. Trevor Lawrence and Evan Ingram or whoever the hell they're throwing to, Christian Kirk. I expect them to be able to move the ball, and the Raiders players have to be just like giving up on the team. Like they just have to realize they're. I mean, like they shouldn't be dead for the playoffs because we just saw that like it did. The seventh team is not that hard to reach, but I don't know, man. Give me Jacksonville pretty happily. Like I don't know if I'll bet with the Raiders again.
Yeah, I think this is probably the hardest game of the week because Jacksonville's bad and Vegas is at least streaking bad.
But like maybe the Jacksonville players are like, hell yeah, we just got Kelvin Ridley next year. They're at least like making moves
I don't
that
know.
make
I don't
fucking
think that.
sense. Like what
I
the
don't
hell
know
are the
how many
Raiders
players
doing?
on Jacksonville are looking at that situation and saying that they're even necessarily going to. That's not a roster that is going to have a bunch of the same people, I think, on it the next year.
Yeah, well, I mean, clearly they're going to churn some of the churnable guys. Like Marvin Jones is gone. Goodbye. Don't need him.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a tough one. I like split second decision gun to my head. I like Vegas.
Well, you've had all week to choose this, so
yeah.
All right.
Well, no, but I mean that's how I felt about it all week. Is what I'm saying. Like this is to me was the one I had circled as the hardest one to pick, and it is a pick 'em. So that I mean not an actual pick 'em, but
all right. Moving on, and this line's kind of surprising to me. I'm surprised that the Cardinals are favorites.
It's crazy.
Like DeAndre Hopkins is back and is clearly a game changer. The Seahawks defense is getting better. Their offense is playing well. Their running game is playing well. I don't understand this line. Bert, who do you got?
Yeah, I think Seattle, obviously. I mean, for them to be getting points, they're playing better football. Arizona sucks at home as it is. It's not a true home field advantage. I think this one is probably one of the easier picks of the week. Seattle +2.
Yeah, I mean, I usually like taking Arizona just because I want them to be better than they are, but give me Seattle, man. Like I don't see how. Maybe they have a fault. Like this is a big game because if the Seahawks win this game, really hurts the Cardinals' playoff chances and really like makes it hard for the Seahawks not to make the playoffs.
It's weird because Seattle always kind of had that air, or this at least how I always
like.
felt
I'm more interested in this game than this game.
Totally.
I'm gonna be watching the Seahawks Cardinals.
But what I was gonna say is that
boring ass Rams Bucks.
What I think is interesting about Seattle, and the way I always looked at it was that
DK's
kind of lucked into a couple good drafts, some really young players for that Super Bowl run, but they kind of had not a great head coach, and they didn't have.
Yeah, I think I was wrong on that. I think
GM, and now I feel like Pete Carroll might be a top 5 coach in the league.
It's kind of funny because I was the opposite, whereas like I thought Pete Carroll was a good coach. I remember I picked the Seahawks to win that year. Like they won their first Super Bowl. I like picked them in some playoff thing, and I thought it was like they were good. And then I kind of thought he was a dunce because of this Russell Wilson stuff. And then it's kind of like, no, actually he knew, and Russell Wilson is Russell Wilson.
Well, it's kind of Mike Tomlin, Antonio Brown territory. Like everybody thought he was a real idiot, and then once you get the and not that Russell Wilson is anywhere near Antonio Brown level antics, but once you get the kind of tough player out of the ecosystem, then you can kind of showcase. I mean, what I will say, Pete Carroll has always been a defensive guru, and the defense has not been their strong suit this year, which is.
But it's getting better. I think like they're past like. I mean, it's kind of. Like clearly, Geno's going to resign with this team, right? Like,
yeah, and
Geno Smith they play quarterback for the next 10 years in the NFL.
They made that terrible Jamal Adams trade, but they basically got it all back.
So he's 32.
Russell Wilson fleecing.
Do we think he plays till at least 37 if he wants to?
I mean, I don't know. This could be a 1-year thing. It could be a Ryan Tannehill type deal. But yeah, I mean, he probably plays at least another 2 seasons just based on this season alone.
Maybe people forgot how good DK Metcalf Tyler Lockett, etc. are. All right, let's close it out here. Rams at Bucks. Rams are 3-point dogs on the road. Two teams that, geez, man. The Rams, they did not trade away Cam Akers, did not trade for. They were in talks for CMC. I saw another thing that like they offered 2 firsts for Brian Burns of the Panthers, a D lineman, which is like insane that the Rams are doing that. The Bucks did not make any moves.
I don't think it's that insane because the Rams have never cared about picks, period.
Well, that's what I'm saying though. Like trade 2 firsts, like they're clearly looking at the team and they're like, we have no chance.
But I kind of appreciate that GM strategy of
if you don't have any picks in the cupboard, it's hard to get rid of you as a GM because what's the next GM going to do? Like you got to stick with your plan.
Well, yeah. So Dave Dombrowski, then we're crossing sports here, but he's an MLB GM who just destroys his leagues or his team's farm systems to get big name players, which is essentially who is the Rams GM? What's his name?
I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, but I kind of respect we're going to take what we know as a sure thing. I mean, I think there's plenty of players on that roster that you could say are worth a first round pick, like when they give them away. So I don't know.
How do you got this one?
I mean, this is a tough one too, but I guess I'm taking LA, man.
I am too. I'm taking.
Tampa Bay seems completely. I think that both these teams will eventually be competing for a playoff spot, but I think LA will be competing for a playoff spot sooner.
Yeah, I mean, I'm taking the Rams because whatever, 2 teams going the wrong way, but just give me the team with the points. I mean, the one thing here that could really screw us is Cooper Kupp kind of hurt his foot. It looks like he dodged serious injury, but if he sits, geesh, the Rams have no one.
Well, are we surprised at all if this game goes like 12-10 either, and then still?
I'm not surprised if that happens. I'm not surprised if the score is like 7-30 and the Bucks finally get a game. Like I've not been watching.
Well, yeah, if it's a blowout, I think the Bucks win, but
yes, because like maybe their defense. I don't know. They got a lot of unhealthy people. I'm not really tracking it, to be honest. All right.
This line is nuts too.
What you think you don't think the Chiefs should be favored by this much?
I mean, just 12.5 for Tennessee, who is their 2-loss team. Isn't that right?
I think what a lot of people and probably systems do is they looked at when the Titans played the Bills and the score, and like the Chiefs are kind of similar to the Bills in that they can throw all over you, and the Bills beat the Titans by like 40 or whatever.
Yeah, I just feel like Tennessee
and we don't know if Malik Willis is playing, who looked terrible, or if Tannehill's playing.
Yeah,
it is raining hard over here.
Anyways, but I mean, they could also just run. I mean,
I'm taking the Chiefs minus 12.5, and the only if the Chiefs want to get their offense together and win by more than 13, they can easily do that. The only question is I don't know, garbage time, but I feel good about the Chiefs minus 12.5. Sounds like you're on the other side.
I've got 2 10-point favorites or 10 double-digit point favorite teams. I think I got to take Tennessee here. They always play them close, and this line seems too large.
All right. And then closing it out with the Ravens only 2.5-point favorites on the road. How do you got it, Bert?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Saints peaked last week with that shutout at Vegas. Baltimore is kind of primed to start making their postseason push, and they middled a little bit at the beginning of the year. So I like Baltimore here.
I do too. If the Ravens are legit at all, which I think they just lost Bateman maybe for the year too. So their wide receivers are questionable. But if they're legit at all, they need to win this game. I don't know, maybe Alvin Kamara can move the ball, and maybe Jameis Winston is back. But It's like Chris Olave, Alvin Kamara, and then a bunch of randos out there for. Ooh, and then we get what's this Friday?
Yeah, is that a Friday night game?
What is that, like Thanksgiving or something? No.
No, it's not, because Thanksgiving is at the end of the month. That's just mislabeled. It's a Thursday night game.
Think?
I don't know why they had that labeled as 11-11.
Oh yeah, that totally has to be what it is.
It's mislabeled. It's 11. It's 11.
All right. Well. Anyways, let's get these up here. So
we're both gonna have Thanksgiving games this year, which is pretty cool.
Who do the Pats play?
Vikings.
Ooh, that'll be a good one. And the Bills play the Cowboys?
Yeah, and the Patriots have a good. They're gonna have a nice little Denver streak of like 4 primetime games in a row.
Let me screenshot this to you because we've learned that you are one of the 5 people on LinkedIn.
I'm hearing you say a lot of
not proficient.
You. Let me tell you what I was doing.
You are one of the 5 people not efficient at Microsoft Excel.
Promoting the channel. I was doing those things. You did not send out the thing that you always do. So enough with the you. And let's
I gotta give it to you, Bert. Like usually it's a lock.
Thank you, Preston. Thank you, Preston. He's
all of my friends on LinkedIn that asked me to endorse them, easy click for Microsoft Excel proficiency. You? I don't know if I'll be that comfortable. All right.
You can take your LinkedIn endorsement and shove it.
All right. We got 4 games here that we are on the other side of. So guys, drop Liam or Bert, whose card do you like more? We're on the same page for the Eagles, the Bills, the Dolphins, the Vikings, the Panthers, different in the Lions and Packers, same page in Atlanta, different in Indy and New England, different in Jax and Las Vegas, Seattle and Arizona were the same, Rams and Tampa were the same, different in Kansas City and Tennessee, and same page in Baltimore, New Orleans. What do you think about this New England team? Is this New England team good? Are they bad? Are they?
They're a middling playoff team, similar to what they were last year. And I think that
what's up with that Bears loss? Like that's just fluke?
Well, I think that is a symptom of what they've had, which is an extremely inconsistent quarterback play, which is mostly, not entirely, but mostly not their fault.
So it makes sense here. Bad look that they played this close, but they won.
Let's not also the Patriots are
here. This is a bad look.
Not without fault at all. They hired Matt Patricia and Joe Judge as offensive coordinators this year.
Good win.
They benched a QB that was.
So how about this loss? Was this a bad loss with what we know now, or was this a loss that?
No. That was not a bad loss at all. They brought in.
The Packers are terrible.
They brought in a career backup who went out in concussion protocol, and then brought in a rookie QB.
Oh, this was Bailey Zappi's first game?
Yeah, who took them to overtime. So that is not a bad loss.
Okay, so
they've had a lot of fluky games.
I don't know if they're winning this game. This is like not going to be.
They are winning that game. I would be shocked. It's Sam Ehlinger.
They lost this game. They lost this game.
They lost. Which game are you highlighting right now?
The Bears game.
Justin Fields is a legit QB.
Wow. And the narrative changed quick in the NFL.
No. And that was also self-inflicted.
What about this game? Is this going to be a split with the Jets?
No. They're going to kill the Jets.
All right. Well, how about these 3 games? The Vikings, Cardinals.
Vikings is more up in the air. I actually like them in that spot, though. Bills, I hate them in that spot. They're going to lose that game.
You're going to get the Raiders A game. This game could matter. McDaniels.
Yeah, I mean. They played in the preseason this year, which is not common at all to play an opponent you're going to have.
Loss.
Okay.
7 more losses.
The problem is like I probably am a little bit of a Patriots homer. I'd say like 51-49, but you are like.
All right, how many wins? Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 9 games left.
Solid 1-8 finish. I see.
What do you see?
Who's the one? Is the one the Jets? I'm getting. If
What are your takes here, Bert?
if
How
I
do
had
you
to
guys?
pick one game for them to win for the rest of the year, it is the Jets. So
How do you have them finishing over these 9 games? What's the win loss?
all right, so let's go. Colts win, Jets win, Vikings. I'm gonna call it a half win for now. I'm gonna pick on the next half win. I'll call it loss. Bills lost.
What is that? All right, so win, and I don't know how to.
Well, no, that's not that ridiculous. I'm saying if you have, so like let's say the Bengals and the Vikings, I think they're going to split one of those 2 games. Is that crazy to say?
Okay. Anyway, so 2.5 wins.
That's really not that. That's not that crazy. Or crazy at all. I mean, that's
anyways.
halfway in LFL.
We'll learn about your system
I'm saying
later.
that the 50-50
Bert has a very
game,
complicated half-quarter win system.
Jesus Christ. We're playing okay. The Colts are a win. The Jets are a win. We'll call the Vikings a win. The Bills are a loss, so they're 3-1.
Okay.
The Cardinals are a win. That's 4-1. The Raiders we'll call that a loss. So what? Now they're 4-2. They'll split with the Bengals and Dolphins, so now they're 5-3. They finish 5-4. And what are they? 4-4 right now, so that finishes 9-8. They're probably in the playoffs.
Okay, but some of the wins that you gave yourselves, which I would say the Cardinals. It's questionable if you guys would win that one. That one would be, and
don't think that's questionable.
If Hollywood and Brown is back, I think the Cardinals destroy you guys. It's questionable if you split with the Bengals and Dolphins, but it's also questionable if you lose to the Raiders. It's very questionable. I think you lose to the Vikings. So you have the potential to finish like 2 more wins or 3. And it's possible the Bills are resting their players this game, which could help.
2 more. You're saying the Patriots are only going to win 2 more games this season?
I would say it's possible.
Liam, you don't even believe that the Patriots are only winning 2 more games this year.
2 or 3. I mean, here
that's crazy talk.
If you guys just lose against the Vikings, Cardinals, Bengals, Raiders, and Dolphins, then for sure.
They will have a winning record for the rest of the year. They will be 5-4 at least.
Possible if you play bad, or if your team's not as good as you think it is, or if you just get some bad luck, it's the NFL, you could have 2 or 3 more wins max. Especially if the Cardinals get better, the Bengals get better. I mean, the Raiders could be a free win by then. Who knows? Like, they could be benching Carr. And the Bills, maybe you guys get to face the Bills backups.
Maybe.
That's a lot.
2 is a stretch, Liam. That's a lot. Oh, that's a lot. This guy, man.
Let's look at the Bills schedule.
We appreciate you, D. Weiss.
www.
Liam went from calling D. Weiss unhinged when the moved the ball to being like, well, this guy's making a lot of points.
Let's look at one more team schedule before we get out of here.
I also know it's not that crazy.
Which team do we want to take?
They have 50-50 games. They will split those. I mean, I don't know why.
Which team do we want to take under the moniker and get behind the brain trust on? Let's look at the Ravens.
Go back to
the Ravens. Or do you want to do the Ravens or the Bengals?
For what?
For their schedule and if they make the playoffs. I think one of those teams is not making it.
Yeah, I mean, the Ravens could win that division. Easy.
It's between the 2 of them. Okay.
No, don't say that in front of Harrison.
Win. Tough defense, but win. Ravens schedule is pretty easy. Like, really easy. Bengals schedule. Win.
Steelers.
Win.
Titans.
Tough game.
You think the Titans are a win for the Bengals?
Yes. The Titans cannot defend the pass at all. The Bengals schedule is much tougher than the Ravens because they got to play the Chiefs, the Bills.
Because they have to play New England.
They have to play the Bucks. It's probably an easy win. I mean, the Patriots is one of the easier games left for the Bengals, especially if the Browns have Deshaun back by then, but I don't know. Right?
Yeah, if I had to rank their games, the Patriots are probably in the bottom half. It probably goes Bills, Chiefs, Ravens,
Bucks.
Patriots, Bucks.
The Patriots are better than the Bucks?
Dude, the Bucks lost 21-3 to Carolina. Like,
all right, let's do the Bucks versus the Rams. We both picked the Rams to cover. How about win?
Loss. I mean, the problem.
This is a loss. The Seahawks are gonna be 4-point dogs after their 17th win in a row. Loss, probably a win. Loss. Probably 2 wins. What is Brady doing coming back? All right, last team, the Saints. They probably have the best team, but
they don't have a QB.
They need to win this game. Easy game.
They're not winning.
Kind of hard. They're just a really tough schedule.
Yeah, they're not winning this week.
All right, Bert, we're going to get out of here on that. Give your closing thoughts for week 9 to the people.
Yeah, plus 13. A lot of haters in the chat. A lot of people saying I'm crazy. By the way, that Carolina could beat Denver take aging like a fine wine. So love that take. And then just a couple shout outs for things I've been watching. Andor show rips. And then just the NBA in general. I don't know if anybody's been following the Brooklyn Nets. That is a team to follow for the next couple weeks here. They're rehiring the Celtics suspended coach. Unbelievable. I cannot, I could not. I thought I was getting punked when I read it, but
why is he allowed to play? I thought he was suspended by the league.
He's suspended by the team.
Oh God.
So the team is like,
this is why teams shouldn't handle punishment. It's got to be up to the league.
Well, what are you supposed to do? I mean, the league is probably like, oh yeah, you got to handle that in house. I mean, I don't know. It's a weird, and I don't even think technically he did anything that is league suspension.
Bro, we gave you our. Oh, let's do this. Let's do a.
Rolling Loud highlights. That's like a big music festival, huh?
Yeah, we got big account. Let's do. That's a joke, by the way. Let's do a pick'em slip. I'll give you a 10% free roll, Bert, on Underdog. You can use promo code ChessLiam to get up and running on Underdog. We're going to do some pick'em picks, and we need to pick 5. We need to get them all right. We can do higher and lower, and we can do rivals. So it's like a rival is more rushing yards. And we can either pick all players from tonight's game, or we can pick some players that we feel good about on the slate in general. So this is like more fantasy football knowledge, but
just to answer Rolling Loud, we both took the Eagles at minus 14.
Yeah, well, I think he wants some picks like this too.
Okay.
So Bert, you have a 10% free roll on this. If we win, I'm gonna bet $500 on this. If we win,
what does 10% free roll mean?
Meaning, if we win this slip, you'll get $1,000.
Oh, that's a good deal. What do you get? 10,000?
I would get 9. And I'm eating the tax burden for you. What a good guy I am.
That's just the way it goes.
How much are you risking? How much are you risking?
When you don't own the YouTube channel, you don't get.
All right. How about this one? Do we feel good about AJ Brown? Minus 15.5 receiving yards. What is this? Davis Mills only plus 18.
Wait, so is it saying who's going to throw for more?
So this is like the example here is this says receiving yards.
Yeah.
So Devonta Smith starts with the 15.5. And
will AJ Brown have 15.5 more receiving yards than Devonta Smith?
Yes. And this is rushing yards. Will Hurts have?
I think Devonta Smith will probably have a huge game tonight.
Yeah. So he's talking about prize picks, which is the same thing as underdog pick'ems. But we got to pick Locksburg. We got to pick like ones we feel really good about. Let's just pick a card of 5. So like we're looking for locks.
Rex Burkhead is still in the league.
It gets a lot of work too. Let's go. Anyone from tonight? Like they don't even give us a pick percentage on.
Davis Mills 1.5 rushing yards. Love that.
Okay, let's look. How those are some of my favorite degenerate bets.
That's what I love that.
Fuck it, let's do it.
Yeah, take
Over.
1.5
Okay,
there.
so higher.
He's going to be running for his life.
Yeah, but if you get
Do they count the sacks against his rushing yards?
I think sacks are against your passing, not your rushing.
Okay, well then, yeah, 1.5 easy.
But if it's against, I also kind of want to take the over on like Jordan Akins receptions or Brevin Jordan receiving yards or something. Brevin Jordan got 5 targets.
I like Devonta Smith within 15.5 yards of AJ Brown.
That's a really scary one, man.
Really? I think that.
Let's look through the whole NFL slate, and we only need to pick 5. So we're not picking ones that are iffy. And I would say this is definitely iffy, but it's like coin toss iffy, just like in what's that movie with Adam Sandler?
Take AJ Brown, Preston says.
What's that movie with Crushed Gemstones or something?
Oh, Uncrushed Gems.
Uncrushed Gems, where he picks like who's going to win the.
Yeah, that, I mean, like everybody was
like that's like what the Davis
like
Mills rushing yards.
How degenerate gamblers are, and the guy literally starts a parlay with the tip, which nobody does.
All right, let's do over Marcus Mariota rushing yards. I think they'll definitely be running all over the Chargers.
Okay.
Stop me when you see one you like.
Okay. Let me see.
In general, it's easier to hit unders, but
what about Bears 0.5 interceptions?
All right, let's take a. I kind of like this one. ETN over 100 and.
Go back up to Justin Fields.
Do you like this one? Over 105 rushing plus receiving, ETN? He's gone over that in the past 3 games.
Well, yeah, because Robinson's gone. Yeah, I like that. He's going to get more
Fields, one
Fields
interception.
to throw at least one pick against Miami. I like that a lot because they're going to be pressing to keep up with that offense.
But the only thing is if he just runs it on the ground.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like they're going to.
I do think they're going to like try to target Claypool down deep too. Which
I'm surprised that 170.5 passing yards is his number 2 because they're going to have to air it out.
I mean, we could take higher. Or you're not allowed to do 2 things per player. Let's take a look at the Bills. That's usually a freebie on the Bills. Yeah, let's take over passing
Josh
yards.
Allen pick. You think?
No, I think.
Doesn't he throw? He's good for 1 pick a game.
Maybe Gabriel Davis higher. But like that would really be like who Sauce Gardner covers. Does he cover some of the other here? Let me look at some DFS chalk. Who are some guys?
Oh wait, go back up to the Vikings.
Let's do Terry McLaurin over.
Go up to the other Vikings players.
I feel good about that one.
Yeah, I know. I just want to see what. Yeah, I think Terry McLaurin probably the best one.
Do you want to keep this?
Heineke is so dependent on him that like
he like loves him. It's crazy.
Yeah. And like they call it a what is it? He catches 90% of the 50-50 ball.
Well, and the Vikings can be beat deep, so it's like literally Terry could get there in 2 catches. Do we want to keep the Davis Mills, or do we want to move off that for something we like more?
I kind of like the. Let's look at the Geno lines.
The Geno lines.
15.5 rushing yards. I kind of like 1.5 rushing yards for Davis Mills.
Yeah, I like it too. It's
Wait, let's go look at Mac Jones's rushing yards because he's good for 1 scramble.
Wait, they let you do max 1,000 now? Wow, that's new.
Go down to the.
They used to let you do max 500.
Go down to the Patriots lines.
The Patriots.
Right there, you passed it.
Okay. I kind of like the over on 12.5 rushing yards from Mobile Mac.
Yeah, he runs the ball a lot.
He has been recently.
Yeah, let's do 12.5 rushing yards for Mac. And
over who?
Over Davis Mills.
The Davis Mills one is so degenerate, though. Like, we could get that in one play, man. Let's look this up.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, check his rushing attempts. If he's like literally statue rushing.
Okay, so 3 for 8, 2 for 2.
He has 9 attempts all year.
1.5.
He has 9
He's
attempts for
under
10 yards
1.5
all year.
in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games.
Okay, I like Mac
over
a lot more.
Yeah, the Davis Mills one is higher. So my favorite and most degenerate ones to play are when it's like Davis Mills versus Matt Ryan rushing yards. Like, that is just good old degen fun. Jimmy G versus Davis Mills rushing yards. Can't imagine having my Sunday decided by that. Let's see if we can. Which one are you most questioning of these 5?
I think the Mariota one or the ETN.
He's over that in like so many games, and the Chargers, like,
they got.
The one thing with the Mariota, the one problem with the Mariota this week is, I think Cordero Patterson's going to be back.
55 attempts.
He's over. All right, well, let's see if we can find one we like better than that. I kind of like the Dawson Knox receiving yards and like the under on some Jets wide receivers.
Yeah, it's kind of weird we have no lowers.
We're an overs only type of show.
I feel that way. I love the over and I love home dogs.
Don't fool yourself that we're anything more than that.
I love the over and I love home dogs. That's usually my.
Yeah, I almost always pick overs, which is, I know, a fish move, but whatever.
Josh Allen under seems good.
Oh, I like this one, kind of. Robert Tonyan receiving yards.
No.
I kind of like the Aaron Jones 97.5 rushing plus receiving too. I like that more than the Mariota.
I like that more than Tonyan.
Well,
yeah, I keep looking. I like Mariota more than that still.
Okay.
What's the Eckler line?
Absurd. Actually, not too bad because.
What's it, 107?
Well, so here's the thing: is they're going to be without Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, maybe. In which case, Eckler will get a ton of targets. But if he's not without both, then it's hard.
I mean,
Hopkins over 80. I like that one. Let's take a look at that one.
If we have ETN 104.5, do you feel better about that than Eckler?
81.5 for DeAndre Hopkins. That seems like a lock. He's getting like 15 targets a game.
Okay, put that in. I like that too.
Over Mariota?
Yeah.
The one pick is scary, man, because he's got to throw a pick in 20 pass attempts.
And he does every week.
Yeah. Well, let's look that up.
He didn't throw any last week, so, water finds its level. Plus, who knows? Maybe they're trying to get the ball to Claypool.
Sorry, Preston. Let's see. He has 6 picks. So he's a pick in 4 of 7 games. Literally like a coin flip decision here. I kind of feel like we could find one we like more than the Justin Fields.
Somebody who's a pick machine.
No, just like a line.
Where's
like
PJ Walker?
Like Aaron Jones.
Go look at PJ Walker's
pick
line.
I just don't like choosing interceptions because it's literally just like coin flipping if that occurs.
I think most quarterbacks have a pick a game.
I kind of like this one, the Aaron Jones one. He is their offense.
I know. We're just not rooting for anybody to do badly, which I think is we should have one where we should be fading a guy.
All right, who do you want to fade?
Well, I like Justin Fields' pick, but
Oh, I thought you meant like pick a lower.
well, that too. I mean, but I'm talking about like rooting for somebody to do badly.
So here's what I've had some success with in pick'ems is like for primetime games like tonight, they usually spread more players than they would usually. So like we should really be picking the lower on some of these obscure Houston guys that are just going to like
17.5 receiving yards.
I know we're like fading like something crazy like that, but like Chris Moore, I don't think Chris Moore got a target last week. What's hard is that's because Brandon Cooks was out. I'd be okay with like OJ. Oh, geez, he got involved. Like,
That's a sad story with that guy. He was supposed to be a real good player.
fuck it, man. Let's do Aaron Jones.
Okay.
They have to get
I
something
guess.
going. Or Amon-Ra over.
What is his over? 70.5?
70.5. He should get there pretty easily. At home. In a dome. No TJ Hawkinson.
10%.
You like Amon-Ra or you like Aaron Jones rushing plus receiving?
Probably Aaron Jones.
Okay.
I mean, I really don't like that game in general. It seems kind of sloggy.
Let's look at Mac Jones. From later now, right? Like no more Bailey nonsense. Bert,
What?
what's the 7 attempts? It's like no more Bailey Zappy at all, right?
7 attempts for rushing attempts.
I know
Yeah, Bailey
that's a lot. What was?
Well, I think anytime he has to scramble, they count that. So, but they also
all
tried
right,
to
we'll do
install
Aaron
like
Jones.
this crazy RPO type deal. So,
All right, Bert, you got 10%. Picks are in. We did Aaron Jones. All right, guys, we'll be back next Tuesday. Good luck this week. Tail us on this card if you would like. Peace out.